Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi. Hampir 2:30. Kita akan bermula jam 2:30. Sekiranya masih ada lagi warga UKM yang belum scan QR code, kita akan paparkan QR code itu pada akhir sesi. Bagi mereka yang belum ada aplikasi UKM, My Smart UKM tu, My UKM untuk Smart Attendance, mohon download pada Apple Store atau the equivalent device lah, Play Store atau Apple Store. Okay, so jam di laptop saya dah 2:30, so kita boleh bermula. Dr. Azmin, are you there?
Ya, Dr.
Okay, so we're gonna start insyaAllah. So Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi dan salam hormat bagi semua warga UKM yang hadir. Saya diberitahu setakat ini ada dalam lingkungan 90 peserta. So terima kasih banyak kepada semua warga UKM yang mengambil masa untuk join us pada sesi ini. So untuk makluman saya beri sedikit mukadimah ya. So inisiatif sesi Taklimat ini adalah salah satu daripada inisiatif Pusat Pengajaran dan Pembangunan Kurikulum untuk memantapkan penggunaan UKMFolio di kalangan tenaga pengajar semua. Seperti semua sedia maklum, UKMFolio hanya beberapa bulan sahaja dalam penggunaan semua tenaga pengajar. Namun saya rasa setakat ini penggunaannya agak mantap. So syabas kepada semua kita yang telah menggunakannya sebaik mungkin. Ya, Hashim baru message saya, setakat ini dah ada 134 peserta. So terima kasih banyak kerana memberi masa kepada pengajaran untuk memberi taklimat ini. So seperti yang sedia maklum, sebelum ini pengajaran telah memberi pelbagai sesi klinik UKMFolio bagi membantu warga pengajar memahami selok-belok teknikal dalam penggunaan UKMFolio untuk menyediakan bahan pengajaran serta tugasan. Hari ini kita ke topik yang seterusnya, topik yang sangat penting juga dalam penggunaan UKMFolio ini, iaitu penggunaan UKMFolio untuk peperiksaan dalam talian pula. Untuk itu kita menjemput Prof. Dr. Azmin Syam Ramli, Timbalan Pengarah Kesarjanaan dan Penyelidikan Pengajaran di Pengajaran UKM untuk memberi taklimat, dan seterusnya sekiranya ada soalan, saya mohon warga untuk masukkan soalan dalam Q&A section dan saya akan go through dan I will make sure Dr. Azmin answers as many of these questions as possible, insyaAllah dalam masa yang kita ada. Okay, Dr. Azmin, off to you. Thank you so much.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Terima kasih Dr. Rai. Terima kasih juga saya ucapkan sebenarnya kepada Prof. Kamal pengarah pengajaran UKM sebab meminta saya untuk berkongsi peperiksaan dalam talian ya. Okey. So saya prepare sedikit lebih kurang apa yang kita dah ada dalam koresponden telah dikeluarkan oleh pengajaran. So mungkin ini boleh melengkapkan lagi lah kefahaman kita. So kalau ada soalan boleh tanya, tapi kalau technical part sepatutnya di pihak PTM lah, tapi kami cuba jawab sebaik mungkin. Okey, saya share slide saya. Okey, Assalamualaikum semua dan selamat tengah hari pada semua warga UKM. Terima kasih sudi melapangkan masa untuk bukan taklimat untuk berkongsi, mendengar perkongsian daripada saya, yang mana saya dah kumpulkan dalam kalangan kawan-kawan daripada aduan yang telah menghubungi saya lah. So yang ni yang kita akan kongsikan. Alright, so dia adalah peperiksaan dalam talian menggunakan UKMFolio. Sebelum ni kita memang semua kita sekarang pembelajaran talian ke sebelum ni pun, walaupun kita tak buat pembelajaran talian blended separuh, kita tetap melaksanakan penafsiran ataupun penilaian lah. Okey, cuma disebabkan oleh MCO Mac ni, jadi kita melaksanakan sepenuhnya pembelajaran dalam talian. Dan bukan setakat pembelajaran, termasuk penilaian sebab KPM dah bagi arahan no face to face sampai end of the year. Dan Datuk dari pejabat Datuk VC juga telah mengeluarkan arahan berkeliling menyatakan bahawa peperiksaan mesti dilaksanakan secara dalam talian menggunakan jenis peperiksaan buku-buku, open book exam. Okay, so ni kita nak share lah. So sebenarnya peperiksaan dalam talian is a different thing, open book exam is a different thing. Tapi now ni dia telah menjadi open book exam dalam talian. Okay, so itu yang kita nak share sedikit lah. Sebab isunya banyak, terutamanya berkaitan dengan cheating kan. Yang itulah yang saya rasa yang memang banyak isu. Tapi bila kita menggunakan UKMFolio, insya-Allah kita try to minimize that issue. So kita akan bincangkan beberapa perkara yang kita boleh minimize. Untuk pengetahuan rakan-rakan semua, macam Dr. Rai sebut tadi, kita baru je menggunakan UKMFolio daripada bulan 2 hari tu. Ingatkan macam bukanlah trial, maksudnya tak sangka yang penilaian pun terpaksa kita lakukan dalam talian juga. So sebenarnya kita baru bermula, so amat baru. Lepas tu semua dah kena dilaksanakan secara dalam talian kan. So it's a challenge for all of us, bukan kita pensyarah termasuk pelajar. Dan disebabkan kita baru tak sampai 6 bulan pun tak sampai. So actually kita masih dalam try and error, nak upgrade yang terbaik. Sebab seperti saya pun tak pernah menggunakan sistem ni. Google Classroom pun adalah pernah masuk tapi pun tak gunakan sangat, banyak lebih menggunakan iFolio dulu. So memang saya belajar. In fact kita menggunakan asas model kita menggunakan asas model bagi UKMFolio ni, jadi saya semak dalam dokumen model lah untuk belajar sebab we have to be ahead of the other friends kan, kawan-kawan yang lain lah. So itulah kita cuba yang terbaik. So far PTM pun dah bekerja keras. Sama juga dengan semua staf pengajaran dan juga penuh-penuh dekan di setiap fakulti. Saya mengucapkan terima kasih kepada PTM, pendekan setiap fakulti yang bersama-sama dengan pengajaran untuk cuba yang terbaik, menyediakan yang terbaik untuk rakan-rakan warga UKM semualah. So bear in mind we have tried our best. So kita hadapi apa yang kita boleh hadapi. So salah satu yang terbaik ni kita cuba berkongsi kaedah penilaian dalam talian ni lah ataupun e-assessment. Okay, so macam saya sebut tadi, kita memang dah buat pentadbiran. Kenapa kita buat pentadbiran? Sebab kita nak dapatkan maklumat balas sepanjang proses pembelajaran kan. Kita buat quiz, kita buat discussion dalam grup so that kita dapat input daripada pelajar kat mana pelajar berlaku kekurangan dalam sesuatu topik so that kita boleh baiki. So tu yang pertama kita nak sukatan perkembangan pelajar, so kita dapat maklum balas sepanjang kursus. So that is formatif lah. Yang satu lagi tu yang summative, yang mana kita nak dokumenkan, dapatkan bukti-bukti keputusan pelajar semua ni supaya kita boleh sukat pencapaian dan kesarjanaan pelajar so that kita boleh bagi grade at the end of the semester. So yang tu kita dah buat sebelum ni. So bila dalam talian pun sama juga, kita terpaksa melaksanakan the same tu juga. In fact sebenarnya beberapa universiti dekat luar, dekat Australia memang ada satu universiti ni memang dah try lama dah. Dia try dengan a few student dulu, lepas tu tambah student. So dia memang dah menggunakan lama pembelajaran dalam talian, jadi dia orang boleh try. So untuk universiti yang memang telah melaksanakan sepenuhnya pembelajaran dalam talian ni, bukanlah sepenuhnya tapi pernah melakukan assessment, jadi saya rasa tak ada masalah bagi universiti tersebut untuk melaksanakan pembelajaran penilaian dalam melalui dalam talian dah. Tetapi kebanyakan universiti termasuk kat Malaysia ni, kita tak pernah buat this kind of penilaian dalam talian. Okey, dan awal-awal tu kita telah cuba untuk penilaian ada dua kan, berterusan dengan kalau kita nak buat exam. Jadi kita telah diberi pilihan siapa yang nak buat exam atau siapa nak buat penilaian berterusan lah. So untuk yang kita yang melakukan exam, termasuk saya juga, dua paper saya, satu lagi paper tak melaksanakan peperiksaan dalam talian. Okay, so kita tengok dulu apa sebelum kita discuss about open book exam atau peperiksaan buku-buku dalam talian ni. So kita kena tahu apa yang dimaksud dengan peperiksaan buku-buku. So peperiksaan buku-buku ni sebenarnya it's not new, cuma yang barunya adalah peperiksaan buku-buku dalam talian. Untuk pengalaman saya pernah being tested melalui peperiksaan buku-buku. So pernah mengalaminya, alhamdulillah. So bolehlah nak share kan. So peperiksaan buku-bukunya apa maksudnya? Dia membenarkan pelajar merujuk nota, buku, any bahan rujukan lah. In fact dulu tak ada Google lagi kan. Sekarang dah ada Google pun pelajar boleh rujuk. Okey, rujuk saya kata bukan copy, boleh rujuk lah. Jadi apa yang dimaksudkan dengan peperiksaan buku dalam talian ni adalah kita membenarkan sebarang bahan rujukan dibawa ataupun being referred masa pelajar menjawab exam. Okay, so kita perlu memberitahu pelajar yang kita tahu yang pelajar boleh rujuk, sebab kalau kita tak buat open book exam, kita buat peperiksaan macam biasa, pelajar memang rujuk buku kan, sebab kita tak nampak tak ada depan mata kita. Kalau dalam kuliah pun pelajar boleh kalau masa kuis dalam kelas saya pun nak buka nota, apa lagi yang kita tak nampak. So alang-alang dia orang nak buka nota, kita laksanakan terus open book exam lah. Kita benarkan mereka, tapi kita perlu maklumkan mereka so that they know. Okay, so itu adalah peperiksaan buku dalam talian. Okay, so bila kita cakap pasal peperiksaan buku-buku ni, kita kena aware yang dia bukan exam seperti biasa. Bukan seperti biasa, maksudnya kalau dulu mungkin ada yang soalan tu berbentuk hafalan, boleh ada lah kan. Tapi sekarang kalau open book exam bukan tak ada, kita tak menguji pelajar tu boleh hafal ke tak. Okay, kita lebih menguji kemahiran berfikir aras tinggi kebat lah, ataupun HOTS, high order thinking skill, yang mana peringkat yang tinggi itulah menganalisis, mensintesis, okay. So yang tu mengaplikasi, yang tu yang kita nak uji pelajar kita. Jadi kalau pelajar tu boleh rujuk buku, so hanya untuk dapatkan definition, nak refer jadual, mungkin contoh yang pernah kita bincangkan dalam kuliah, itu pelajar boleh refer. Tapi whatever soalan mereka tak boleh dapat lah, itu maksudnya. Okey, sama juga kalau dimasuk dalam Google sebab Google ni kena very spesifik, dia masukkan mungkin dia tak boleh dapat the spesifik soalan tersebut lah. Dia boleh merujuk tapi dia tak boleh dapat the specific one. So itu maksudnya peperiksaan buku-bukunya lah. So bila kita cakap peperiksaan buku-buku dalam talian so bermaksud pelajar tu akan ambil exam tersebut di rumah masing-masing, sebab semua ada dekat rumah masing-masing kan. Di rumah masing-masing, dan tempoh dia mungkin macam saya dulu 24 jam, jadi saya rasa maksimum Allah, saya rasa maksimum 24 jam soalan maths masa master, tapi 24 jam pun tak cukup sebenarnya masa tu. Kalau saya buka buku nota pun memang tak jumpa, unless smart student, so dia tak payah refer lah kan. So memang tak ada buku rujukan, it must come from your head. So bolehlah kalau nak dapatkan the definition, the takrif kan, sebab dalam maths ni dia ada teorem ni semua kan. So untuk menguatkan hujah, kita boleh masukkan, kita boleh dapatkan, tapi bukan jawapan lah. Okay, so itu jenis peperiksaan buku-buku. So di atas saranan ataupun GP ataupun arahan yang telah dikeluarkan oleh pejabat BC, semua peperiksaan perlu dilakukan secara buku-buku dalam talian. Jadi pengajaran UKM telah mengeluarkan 4 garis panduan dan e-book
Dr. Azmin, I'm so sorry to interrupt. We have a comment from one of our participants. Dia mohon a combination of Malay and English because the person says they can't follow Malay too much.
Alright, okay.
Yeah.
So thank you. Yeah, thank you, Dr. So we have produced garis panduan for this exam online. So you can refer this garis panduan in the UKMFolio. Okay, so this is the attachment, so this is the link, but you can refer to UKMFolio under the FAQ. It's very easy. You can just go to FAQ dalam UKMFolio, just put garis panduan. I'm sorry we haven't make it English yet. You just put it garis panduan, then you should be able to access all this GP lah, all this garis panduan as well as the e-book. Okay, so whatever that I'm discussing today, memang which have been discussed in the GP. Okay, but of course I'm enhanced a bit lah. Alright, so this open book exam, usually create misconception among our students, whereby they thought that when we have this open book exam, it will be very easy because they can refer to books, they can easily find the answers. But it's not true, because actually with the luxury of having this reference, all the kind of references, the compensation is the exam will be very tough. Okay, so we have to tell our students that the exam will be very tough, even though they can refer to books and notes, and actually they cannot find the answers in the books or the notes lah. We have to tell the students so that they are ready. So we're going to come up with something like this briefing to students so that they are aware of this. But on the other hand, I would like the fellow lecturers to inform our students, saying that we have this open book exam. Online open book exam will be difficult compared to the previous exam lah, where they have to sit in the exam hall. Okay. Because you have to tell the students, because this is our first time, and also it is the first time for students to answer to sit in the exam online. Okay, so I think they are anxious, okay, as well as we the lecturers. So we have to reduce the anxiety of taking this online exam. All right. So when in UKMFolio, we are using these features. Okay, we the quiz features. I bet most of us have used these quiz features. If you don't, you haven't tried this feature, so maybe you should. Okay, because if you have this online exam, then you have to use a quiz feature as an exam. Okay, so this quiz features, I'm sorry, my presentation is in Bahasa, but it's okay, I'm going to translate the best that I can. Okay, so with these quiz features, we can have exam. Okay, we can have exam. We can make it as an exam, because the feature, the quiz feature is very good. For me, it's very good, because there are so many things that we can get from the quiz feature compared to the assignment. You can choose assignment as your exam tool, but in terms of security, in terms of the reports, okay, checking your students while they are taking the exam, so it's better to have this quiz, okay, for the exam. And besides that, we can use this quiz as the name quizzes. We can have the quizzes, small quizzes, or maybe a test, okay, let's say a test 1, test 2, test 3, as we go along the semester. Okay, this is for, as I mentioned in the beginning, this small test or quizzes is to help us to understand our students, so that we can get feedback and we can improve, or we can do better in teaching and learning. Okay, and the other thing, we can make it as, let's say if we have a partial exam, okay, we can make it as mock test or trial test. So for those who haven't used these quizzes or tests with your students, I would suggest this week you should try with your students, so that they have experienced this, so that we don't have this problem using online exam, because this is the first time they are using UKMFolio as their e-assessment, so they haven't tried yet. So I would suggest for those that haven't tried a quizzes or a test, so please do a mock test. You can put it, you can put your past year exam paper in the quizzes, and then tell your students, and then sit for the exam maybe about 1 hour, so that they have tried how to submit, how to answer, how to allocate their time during answering the questions. Okay, and how does the system of submission takes place. So please do the mock exam before this week, before exam next week. Okay, and as I said just now, we can use as a feedback both for the lecturers and also for students. Whereby for lecturers, we can see how's the student progress, whether certain topics, there are some problems in the certain topics, or maybe for the students, they can get feedback. Okay, so if you provide mock tests. So you can provide feedback, but not answers. You just provide feedback so that if they answered that question, so they know where do they go wrong, and then they can do it again. Okay, so that is feedback, and also feedback in terms of their performance. Okay, and we can see who's better in performance, who's dropping, so we can check with the students. And this is important for the students where they can do the self-assessment. So actually quizzes is not one-time assessment. It can be there is a feature where we can have a multiple attempts. Okay, so student can try, and once they, let's say they don't get 100%, or they can try again, or maybe before the exam they can try again. So that's the feature of quiz, okay, that we're going to use. So in this presentation we're going to share what we as a lecturers should do before the exam takes place and during the exam takes place. Okay, so this is what we're going to discuss. I bet most of us have done this. For those who have used this e-assessment or quiz feature for the mid-semester or the small test. Okay, but those who haven't, so I would suggest that we do something like this. Okay, so we're going to discuss about our preparation before the exam, and the procedure or the procedure, and also the mock exam. Okay, I've done a guide before my students sit for the mid exam. So I give them a guide saying that the ethics, whatever, the timing, how they should allocate the time to answer questions, because there are short answers, there are long answers. So I put all those information in a guide. So I'm going to share that with you, and also the mock exam as well. So these are the preparation before the exam, and also the technical preparation. Okay, the same goes to during the exam. What should we do? Okay, so we go for the first one, the preparation for the exam. So the first one, questions, of course, right? So as I said just now, the questions should be higher order thinking skills. Okay, because we don't want to test how students memorize. Okay, we want to test how they can apply whatever that they have learned, the concept that they have learned. So in the questions, we need them to think. Okay, and but if you ask me how the question should look like, I will leave to the kind of question to the lecturers, because you are the expert of your own course. Okay, you are the expert. You teach the student, you know what you have discussed, you know what you want to test, especially if we are referring to the objective of the course. Okay, so it should tally to your objective, you should map your objective, and you do the questions. I bet we have done this because we have vet all the questions before. Okay, but if you I know some of you might have some questions saying that, okay, we prepared the questions before the MCO, whereby the questions are not that tough. So how do we change it? Because we already prepared the question. I'm going to share how we're going to randomize the questions, not shuffle, but randomize the question. Okay, because we have done the questions. This is our first time, so let it be. We're going to use the question that we have prepared for, but we're going to change a bit so that as if we are making different sets. Okay, so that different students will get different set of questions. Okay. So don't worry if you have prepared the questions. We don't have to change it, but we're going to only modify a bit. All right, and as I said just now, the questions and the answers, students cannot find it in the textbook or the notes or as well as Google. Okay, so that is the kind of questions. But if you ask me, I can suggest, I can give you tips after reading the literatures. So what kind of hot question that you can give is maybe the questions based on interpretation. Okay, you can ask students to interpret a problem, a scenario, for example, or maybe tables. So whatever that you have discussed in class, so you can ask that. So because we know that students, some students, they have difficulty in interpreting the problems. If we have the calculation, you just add in questions so that they should, how do they interpret the solution, for example. Okay, so interpretation questions. Okay, and okay, the class specific questions, because you have discussed things in class, they cannot go into Google. Okay, they cannot, if they Google the word, maybe they can find a clue, but they cannot get the answers. But if you refer to an example they've discussed in class, it's hard for the students to get the answers from Google. So maybe you should come up with a very class-specific questions to reduce the possibility students get answers from the internet. Okay, because internet is faster compared to if they look in their textbook or the notes. Okay, and the best is, okay, use images or your own graph, okay, instead of using or pictures from the internet. Okay, better use your own data, maybe use your own pictures. Okay, if from your research you can use the pictures or the image from your research data, and you can ask your student relevant to your course. Okay, because if you use the image or graph, for example, from or pictures, from the internet, I've tested, they are able to find questions related to that pictures. Okay, so try our best to come up with your own picture, okay, or images. Okay. And justification questions. Okay, I love this. When I joined UKM, I learned from Prosalmi. He when we vet the questions, I vet his question paper, and he wrote about justification. I learned a lot from him how to prepare questions. So he loves to use this justification. Okay, so since then I use justification in my exam. Because we know that students have difficulty in explaining terms or their results. Okay, so you can ask ask them to justify why they choose this and this as their answers. Okay, so justification, and also this justification can differentiate from one student to the other, the answers. If the justification are exactly the same, then you know they must share the answers. Okay, but this is how we can reduce sharing answers. Okay, all right, so this is the most important thing. Sorry. So this is the most important thing, where your questions must map your objective of the course. Okay, I bet we have settled this because we have a vetting session before either before MCO or during the MCO. Okay, so I'm not worried too much. I'm sure that we are asking the appropriate questions. Okay. And okay, so we're going to using UKMFolio to prepare our questions. Okay, so the first step, we have two steps. The first step is setting up. The second step is preparing the questions. Okay, so this is the setting up process, whereby the first thing is timing. So the first thing is timing. So timing is very important. As I said, the first experience is my experience is 24 hours taking the exam, but this is not online. But you should limit the exam time because if you have a longer time to answer the questions, then the chances for students to discuss increase. Okay, so you should be able to calculate how long does each question should be answered, and then you should add in the submission time. Okay, so I make it as 5 minutes, something like that, or maybe less. Okay. And then we have this timer. Okay, so for the timing, okay, you should click enable. For those who haven't tried this UKMFolio features, you just click enable, and then you are able, using this calendar, so you are able to put the dates and also the time. Okay, as well as the closing, the end of the exam time. Okay, for example, for my paper on the 30th, it's not 20th, on the 30th of June. So my paper will be at 3 to 8, 3 hours, so 3 to 6, 3 hours. It should be, the normal exam should be around 2 hours. So I'm quite kind. So I'm going to give them about 2 hours and 30 minutes. But since they are doing it online, so I'm going to extend it, and also I'll make it harder. Okay, because they can refer to books. So the 30 minutes for the students to upload their answers. Okay, so I have 4 questions, 4 to 5, including 4 to 5. So let's say 5 questions. So maybe the student should answer each questions 30 minutes, and then 5 to 6 minutes for submission. Okay, they should have enough time. Okay, and also this the duration of the exam, since 3 hours, so I put the 3 hours so that there's a timer counting down as they answer the exam paper. Okay, and I would like our fellow lecturers to pay this, what do you call it, when time expires. Okay, pay attention to this. You have to choose open. Why I said have, I'll tell you a bit later. You have to choose open attempts are submitted automatically. So there is another option. If you choose this one, there's an option saying that you can choose the grace period. Okay, but I'm not suggest you choose that option. Please choose this one. Why? Because this system, this choice will let the system do auto saving. Okay, it happens during my students taking exam mid semester. I have 159 students, let's say 160. So it turns out the internet is quite bad among students, not in UKM, I'm sure of that, because mine is fine, but from the student side. So they have a message, I'm going to show you later. And because of that, actually UKMFolio is quite smart, because it can detect the speed of the internet is going down. Okay, once the system detect that the internet speed is going down, it will save the answers of students automatically. Okay, and they will produce, the system will show us that there's an indicator. I'll show you later. So that's why I suggest you choose this autosave function. Okay, and the next is I'm going through this exam setting one by one. So these are all the menus that is available. If you happen to have another gadget with you, you can try open up UKMFolio and go to quiz, and then just see step by step. Okay, so the next one is the grade. So the grade, the most important thing here is the attempt. Okay, the attempt allowed. So this is an exam, so we just let them do the exam once. Okay, so choose one. The default will be unlimited, so please take note. You have to change these attempts allowed to be 1, so that it happens to one of my friends. Her students is around 140 and 154 or 144, something like that. But the attempts, the number of attempts that he got after the exam closed is 194. Okay, so it shows that there are students who do not only once but maybe twice or thrice. So make sure choose the attempts, because this is exam to 1, that is under grade, and then under layout. Please choose each questions appears on one page. Okay, so the possibility of sharing the answers can be reduced, because when we shuffle. Okay, because one student might get this page of question, let's say question 1 on page 1, the other students maybe get a question from page 10 that will be their page 1. Okay, so try our best to make each question on each page. Okay, don't put all the questions on one page unless our friends from FPI, we have a workshop of exam with them this Monday, last Monday, sorry. And their questions are very hot, higher than think is. So if they want to put the exams on one sheet of paper, then that is fine, because if they are sharing this, they cannot solve it. Okay, but if we have a limit in 3 hours, so I'll try. I would suggest try to make each question on each page. Okay, and this one is very important as well, navigation method. So make it sequential. Don't do it free. I know my students ask me to set the navigation as free. I said for security reasons, I cannot do that, because when we make it a free navigation, I know this is when they do exam, physical exam, they whichever they find this is a hard question, they will leave it and then do the next question, right? But to reduce students from cheating, so that's why we have to set it as sequential. Because as I said, maybe I get this first question as number one, but maybe Dr. Rai get the same questions on maybe on the 10th, number 10. Okay, so if I make it a free navigation and I skip that questions, then maybe Dr. Rai can give me the answer that I can go back and use that a solution to answer the questions. Okay, so for security reasons, please set the questions to be sequential, but we have to tell our students. Okay, I wrote down that the exam is sequential based, whereby whenever you come across a question, you have to answer the best that you can and save it and move to the next questions, and you are not able to go back to the previous questions. I told them that, so make sure we tell them. But I give this suggestion. It doesn't necessarily that you follow this suggestion, but to reduce the cheating. Okay, and next, randomize the questions. Okay, so this is a random shuffle. This is when we here we talk about the randomize. It can be shuffle. The question means that as I said, first student get question 1, maybe the second student get question 10. Okay, because we shuffle the questions and shuffle the answers as well. Okay, if we have this multiple choice. Okay, so shuffle the questions in the setting up questions here. So shuffle within questions, set it yes. If I'm not mistaken, the default is no, so you have to change into yes. And also in the setting up and then in preparing the questions. Okay, in the questions, when you put in when you want to add in questions, there's a shuffle key here. Just take that shuffle, so it will shuffle. But I have friends from FSSK. They ask me how, if they want to shuffle certain sections, but the other sections they don't want to shuffle. Okay, so this is the example. If you let's say you want to, one of the questions is student have to refer to a picture, for example, or from our FSSK friends, a passage, and they have questions related to the passage, or the same thing as image. So there are questions related to that image. So that kind of question you don't want to shuffle. So what you can do is you can create sections. There's a pen here. If you have a certain, if you have, let's say here I have 7 questions, and we break into sections by, if you click here and there is choices, instead of 3 you have 4 choices, where you can add questions, you can add new questions, you can add random questions, you can add from question bank, and there is add section. Okay, so you just click the add section, it will give you this, it will differentiate the sections and you can name the section. So in this section, I don't mind the questions to be shuffled, but in this section, I don't want the questions to be shuffled. It must be sequential. Okay, and this is I, Okay, I means that it's a description, whether it is a table, a passage, a picture that students have to refer to. So questions 3 and 4, students have to refer to this information. Okay, I'm using description. You can go to quiz, and at the end there's a description. So use that description. It's not a question type, but you can put information. That's why it appears here as I. Okay, and how, if you have question, how you break this one, you just click this arrow, so you just break this one. If you want to combine, you just click this arrow back, they will combine together. Okay, so we have this one shuffle and this one shuffle, and this section B is not shuffle. All right. Okay, so this is the most important thing. As I said, we have prepared our questions. We don't want to come up with new one because the vetting is done, the question is done, and it's towards the end of the semester. The exam is approaching next week, right? So we're going to randomize the questions. What do I mean by randomize the question? For your information, I've done the video on this morning. So you can refer to YouTube, just put in the random questions UKMFolio, you should be able to see the video. Okay, so this question, we're just going to change a bit. We just make variants of questions, of the same questions. For example, let's say I have a maths questions. For your information, I'm from Faculty Science and Technology, from maths department, from maths maths department. So let's say I'm in my question I use n equals to 5. So I can vary the questions by having n equals to 7, n equals to 10, n equals to 20, for example. So student will get a different set of questions. Okay, so that's how you do the variant. Just a simple changing of your questions. You don't have to change everything because it's going to be a different question. The difficulty level will be different. So what you can do is just a bit, okay, just change a bit. Maybe what the constants, maybe functions, you know, but functions you have to be very careful because make sure the functions doesn't produce a very long solutions compared to the previous question. If not, you cannot measure the same question is equal. Okay, just change a bit, just make it variant with a bit information. Okay, so this is a randomized question. So what it means, you are having few sets of questions, okay, different sets of questions. With the same topic, you have different sets of questions. Okay, so the best is you have, for example here, you can see the best is, I already make categories for my questions. And here I have one question, I haven't varied yet for this question. This one, I have 2 questions, okay. So the best is we have 3 questions for each topic or subtopic. 2 or 3 is fine because the question will be jumbled up. Okay, and but the best is 3. And in order to randomize the question, you have to, there are 2 steps. You have to create the category first, and then make the questions varied. Then you go to edit quiz as usual, and then click add random questions. Okay, instead of add new questions, you can add random questions. Okay, and then you can change. So I provide video. This is the link, but anyway, I'm not going to we're not going to watch the video. You can go back after this. You can check the video. All right. So this is the category of questions. All right, so I'm going to share a bit. So for the categories, we have to create. The first step is create the categories. So how to create these categories? Just click your exam name, and then go to admin block on your left side. Go to admin block, and then lower down, there's a question bank. So just click the question bank. This will appear. Okay, when you click the question bank, you will see the questions. But now I click the category already. Okay, you just can click this tab. So click the category. This is how you add in the category. Okay, so click the category menu, and it will force you to add in a name for a category. Okay, so just add in the name of the category. For example, I put this keseimbangan moment, for example, and then after you add the category, so just go to this tab, question tab. Okay, so it's very easy. So first edit category and then add the category, and then the next one, click this tab. Okay, question tab, and go to the questions and edit. Click edit, and then there's a choice. Click duplicate, and you just change a bit. All right. So this is the category just now. So I have a few categories here, and if you want to randomize the questions, you just go to edit quiz, right? We have quiz. We are preparing our questions, and then just edit the quiz. So when edit the quiz, so we shuffle the quizzes, and then here how we add the questions. Click add, and it will appear as a new questions from question bank or random questions. Okay, since I have 2 questions, so you don't see the sections. Okay, but if I have few questions, then you can see random questions. You can see the sections. Okay, because just now I explained about the sections. All right, so here the random question. You just click random questions, and it will give you this. It'll give you the categories. Okay, because we add in the categories before, so I have these few categories. Okay, so you just click, let's say I'm clicking this moment aplikasi category, and it will appear here as moment aplikasi, and it turns out there's 2 questions here. If you look at this moment aplikasi, there are 2 questions. So these are the questions. Okay, and we want the number of random questions to be 1. Okay, so that maybe I get these questions and Dr. Rai get these questions, so they don't get the same questions. Okay, that's what we meant as randomized. Okay, and then just click add random questions, and you can add the questions. Okay, so the next one is extra restriction on attempts. Okay, this is a very good features. There are friends telling me that I'm sharing this first. Okay, for the extra restriction on attempts, you can put in a password, but I don't suggest you put in passwords. Maybe if you want to do override, then you can add in password. We discuss about the override later, and this is the most important thing. Okay, make it full screen pop-up with some JavaScript security. I checked with my students. They said that when I choose this one, I'll did 2 times. Okay, the first one I choose this full screen pop-up, and they comment that when they start the exam, the questions appears in full screen. Then there's only next button. Okay, they just have to click the next button. But when I don't choose this feature, they can open the exam questions. They can open the Google, okay, on the same page. They can browse through Chrome, and they can browse through other facilities. But if you choose this full screen pop-up security, a student are not able to go to any browser. Okay, this is comment from my students, so I'm not sure whether from the other parts of the student they can do the browsing, even though we do these features. Okay, all right. So extra restriction is the last one. There's also completion, something that tag the course. I can remember, but these are all the important features that you should use for your exam. The rest not that important. There's a restrict access. From our workshop with friends from FPI, they asked me they want the exam to be 24 hours because they want, if you see here, the allow quiz to be attempted offline using mobile app is off. Why? Because we set the timer. Okay, if you don't set the timing, the date and the time, then you are able to use this feature. So for our friends from FPI, after they check with the students, some students, they are using this UKMFolio. They can access UKMFolio through their handphone only. They don't have laptop or desktop. So in order for this feature to, you can use this feature whereby student can use mobile apps. So you cannot use timing. Okay, but you should make the exam. You should restrict the time of exam, so you use the restrict access. Okay, after the extra restriction, there is restrict access. You can use the restrict access, and you can put the choose date, and you can put the time and the date and the time of your exam. Okay, so that's how you restrict. At the same time, student can use this. Using doing the exam using phones. Okay, all right. But I just want to mention, if they're using their handphone, in my case, I've asked all my students. Alhamdulillah, all of them, they have a minimal laptop and also desktop at home, so they don't use handphone during for exam. So I can use this feature, and if they use handphone, they cannot screenshot and send the answer. So they have some limitation. So if they use a laptop, then what my student did is they answered on a paper and they screenshot it and they upload in the system. Okay, so they use their handphone to upload the answers from the system. But some of them, they type the answers. This must be good. So they type the answers in Word processor and save as PDF, or sometimes they just email me they just submit through UKMFolio in Word processor. Okay, once you have done setting the exam, we just setting up first. You have to make sure you have to do this. Okay, hide from your students' view before you add in your questions. Okay, because they can see it. Okay, so this is the setting up process. Once you complete setting up your exam, you haven't put your questions yet, and then hide from student view. There's on the right hand side, there's a key button. Just click edit setting and go down a bit. There's hide button. Okay, with the icon eye. Okay, once you choose that one, the icon eye will be crossed. Okay, it shows that it is hidden, and you are able to know because it was stated in the exam. This is hidden from students' view. Okay, so hide from students' view, then you can add in your exam questions. Okay, so let's say we have done the setting up. We have put in the exam questions. Now we are having the exam. Okay, before we have the exam, so there are some procedures. Dr. Rai, how's the time? Is it okay?
We're good, Dr. Azmin.
All right, great, thank you.
We're good, but we've got lots of questions. So if I suggest maybe we round it up in 10 minutes and then we feed some of the questions.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Okay, so in the procedure, what you should do is you have to tell your students the ethics of the exam. Okay, so if you need this ethics, we can provide it to you. Okay, I found this from Google, and actually this is from this Akta University and College University 1971, edited version 2006. Okay, and this is about what they cannot do during the exam. Okay, they cannot share, they cannot refer. We allow them to refer the references. They cannot share with their friends, they cannot communicate with their friends. So just let them know about this. I'm going to share what I've done. And for the references, so you have to tell them what kind of references that you allow. If you don't mind, they use Google, they use all the references, is okay, but please advise the students that if they use many references, it's not good for them, because they will be wasting their time by scrolling to find the answers. So just advise them to have one textbook, for example, or maybe if the notes is enough, because the questions will be discussing on the lecture examples, then the notes is enough. If not, ask them to come up with at least one textbook so that they can refer the terms or whatever. Not too many, because it will distract time, it will drag their time, they will spend their time on just scrolling to find the answers, so it will be very bad. So please advise the students. And for the duration, the time, please tell them, even though just now we just setting up the exam, so now you have to come up with the guide for the students, telling them that we're going to start at what time and it will close at what time, and there's a timer, and how they should allocate their time for each question. So we just do the calculation, and you can tell them. I've prepared prepared. I'm going to show with the rest of you my example during the mid-semester, but of course I'm going to revise it a bit with some more information. Okay, and tell the students about the navigation as well, okay, because we have to tell them that they cannot go back to the previous question. You have to tell them so that they are ready, and ask the students to let their family knows that they are taking the exam, so that the siblings doesn't interrupt them. Okay, so that they can concentrate on the exam. Okay, the time and date especially, and tell the students that the question is this is open book online exam. Since open book, so the question is tougher compared to the previous one if they do the mock test, okay, using the previous past year's exam paper. And tell them if they have problems, then please let the pensyarah know, because I'm going to share with you. If they have whatever problems during answering the exam, let's say the deadline is not good and they cannot submit, it takes about 10 minutes to submit the questions, the answers, okay, to save the answers. So it happens to one of my students, so I just do the override. I'm going to share that later. So I'm going to show you the example what I did with my student last time during 5th of June. So so I tell them about the academic, the ethics, okay, and then I said if we found they are cheating, and I'm going to take some measures, and the time of the exam, how long does the exam takes, 2 hours and 30 minutes, and the other 30 minutes for them to upload their answers, not at the end, but during the exam, because once they complete the exam, let's say 30 minutes done, so they should submit save the answers, okay, so that's the 30 minutes for, and try to ask them to allocate time for the questions, and I told them the exam will be open at what time and close at what time, and be prepared with all the needs, let's say the laptop, the charge laptop, cables, mobile, because they need to screenshot and submit the questions, and maybe calculator and papers. Okay, my students, they need papers to answer, and then screenshot the answer. So make sure they are ready with all those things, and then ask them to inform the parents, the families, and then, okay, this is very important. I ask them to check the internet speed at their the house area, because maybe in their room, if they want to answer the exam, sit for the exam in their rooms, so the signal might not be as good as at the hall. Okay, so ask them to check around the house where the signal is the best. Okay, and inform the family that they are having this exam during this time, and hopefully the family members can understand that. And then also not only the internet speed certain area in the house, as well as the telco that provide the best services. For example, I'm using DG, but Maxis in my area is the best. So I would suggest my students to buy the prepaid for the Maxis only for the exam session. Okay, and I told them that they can refer to the slide notes, the book. Okay, we have a reference book, so the book if they want to, but I don't suggest they have too many references. And I told them about the questions, because they are very anxious, because this is their first time. Even though the usual exam also they are anxious, so just tell them we have how many questions, because actually I think I have 5 questions, but I have smaller questions from a bigger question. So it turns out I have 12 questions, and I told them this is mid, that's why we have MCQ. For the final we don't have MCQ, and we have short and long answers. So how do we allocate each answer, each questions? Okay, I tell them that, and in general, questions with a smaller marks, smaller points, then they shouldn't spend too much on the questions. Okay, just in case they cannot solve the questions, is only 2 marks, then they should move to the next questions. And I told them that the exam is sequential, so whenever they come across that question, they have to solve the problems the best that they can, and save the question and move to the next one because they cannot go back. Okay, we inform that too, and the timer also informed that about the timer, and I told them I always be ready in front of my laptop so that I can monitor them. Okay, and I'm going to add where I will ask them to screenshot a kind of receipt. I'm going to show you later. Okay, send me the screenshot just in case. Not send me the screenshot, but save the screenshot just in case there's some issues later. Okay, for those who haven't tried quiz, so please do this mock test using quiz feature. So I'm not going to discuss on this. So please do the mock test. You can just make it 0 points just to or make them a learning process so they can answer the problem and they can submit. Okay, try to make it within a confined, let's say 1 or 2 hours. And because we just want to make sure that during the real exam, the 2 hours is enough for them. They know how to submit, they know how to save, they know the navigation questions. So I'm going to share with you later. So this is the OpenSignal apps I shared with the students. At the end of that panduan just now or guide just now, I have this. So I'll show some examples how to click this and then they'll get some information. Okay. So this is the features from the OpenSignal. Okay. We have done with the preparation of the exam. So now, during the exam, as usual, when we have this physical exam at Dashtown, for example, we have to be there, right? So the same goes to online exam. You cannot go shopping, you cannot go anywhere. If you have meeting, please, you have to be in front of your computer for the hours specified according to BPA, bahagian peperiksaan, okay? If I don't mention this, please do your exam according to the timetable done by this bahagian peperiksaan because a student don't clash with each other. All right. So you have to invigilate your own exam. You have to be in front of the computer in front of the system with HP as well because they might text you. Okay. So you have to invigilate your own exam and open up the system, the UKMFolio. If there are errors, then you know there is error if a student tell you that. Okay, so you should, this is the front page of the exam. So we'll say here attempt allowed 1 and the attempt will be 0. So let's say start at 3, my exam starts at 3. So when it starts at 3, you can see that this number is increasing. But what happens last time, I have 158 students in this set and the other set I have another 1 student. And after 10 minutes, there are only about 120 students. Okay, so the rest of the students are not in the exam hall yet. And I text, we have a WhatsApp group, I text the students, whoever haven't go into exam, please do so now. 10 minutes later, all of them have been in the exam hall. At their own house. Okay, so that's what you should do. So next, you should be okay. I'll show you later. So this is the student's view. We cannot say this, but this is from student's view. We call this as a navigation panel, quiz navigation block. Okay, whereby student can see. Let's say there are 19 questions, so student can see that there are 19 questions. Okay, if they after the exam they say that I don't know that there are 19 questions. I only see 17, so they are lying. Because they can see the number of students, the number of questions, okay? And there are some indication, this is number and this is a plain, just like this, okay, a plain box. So this is a half filled with gray color, which means that this question has been answered. Okay, so that's the indication. So in this case, my student has answered this question while she was on the last question and she was worried about this sign. So what this sign means is the autosave, as I said, UKMFolio system is quite smart, whereby it can detect if the internet speed going down, drops, then it'll come, it'll do the auto saving, then it'll come with this symbol. Okay, so don't worry. After I check in the system, I'm going to show you later what you have to do after you check the number of attempts just now. You have to go to results. So from there, I can see that the student answers is being saved. I got all the answers. So I told the student, you don't have to worry. Okay, and if we have a tick border around this box, it means that the student is in this question. They are answering this question, question 19, and the answer is not submitted yet. Okay, so they cannot fool the lecturers if we know about this. Okay, so this is what I would suggest. We ask the student to screenshot, okay, because they know the number of questions, they know the questions that they have answered, they know the questions that they has not answered, okay, and if there are problems, okay. And once they complete this one, let's say this is half grade already, grade color already, so they will click this finish attempts, and this is what they get. So this is what I call as a receipt just now. So I'm going to ask my students to screenshot this so-called receipt and keep it just in case they have problems. So if you can see here, if just now I have 19 questions, so students know that the answer is safe here. They know that they answered the questions. If they haven't answered the question, it will appear as not complete or not yet answered. If they click it, so it will appear as not complete. If they don't click it, so it will appear as not yet answered. Okay, so don't worry, we are not going to be cheated by or fooled by the students, because students know that if they answered the questions or not. Okay. And for this incomplete, because the autosave features just now. Okay, this is what I'm going to add just now. Okay, and lastly, after you check the number of attempts, then you should go to admin blog. You are in this page, and just click results, and it will appear as this one. Okay, when students answered the exam questions, so it won't appear this one. Okay, once they submit, then you can check whether all the answers has been saved. Okay, since there are problems, so I'll check each of them. They text me, so I'll check a specific number of specific students, and I'm sure that I receive the answer well. So and they are satisfied. Okay, so don't worry. So, but you have to, once the students, all the students have seen the exam, so go to this page so that you can monitor who has submitted and you can check all the answers. All right, and make sure you have this. Okay, you can check from the group, or you can ask your PD if you don't have this. Just make it handy in case there is problem. You can just WhatsApp, or you can call the PTM. And let's say there are some problems. There is a blackout from the student side, or for example, students submit, it takes 10 minutes to submit an answer. So a student texts me, and we can use this override feature. Okay, just click the user override, and you will come up with this page. And so during my exam with 159 students, so 2 of my students are having problem during internet, so I'll make the override for these 2 students. I use the password, I give them password, and they entered the exam, and then I change it into number of attempts to twice. Instead of 1, I change. So you have to do 2 things. You have to change the timing, extend a bit, maybe 15 minutes or 30 minutes, it depends on you, and also change the number of attempts into 2, and then set the password as well, and then give the password, and students should be able to complete their exam. Okay. So this is the procedure. Don't worry, you can watch the video. There's also a video. Just put in FAQ. Just put override. Okay, then you should be able to come across the video. All right. So I'm going to skip that. Okay, yeah, that's it. So thank you very much. So Rai, back to you.
All right. Okay, first of all, Dr. Azmin, can I just say I'm terribly impressed with your knowledge of how to use UKMFolio. I mean, we all started learning to use UKMFolio at the same time, and I think you've gone miles ahead of us. So kudos to you. A round of applause to my friend Dr. Azmin for that. Okay, we've got a number of questions. We've got about 26 questions. So what I'm going to try to do is kind of go through the themes, you know, so that we kind of like address certain questions. The first thing was you talked about higher order thinking questions, yeah, kebat, yeah. So we had one question at the very early in the session, and I'm going to read you the question, and I kind of feel that you have answered it, so maybe you want to expand a little bit. We'll try to spend like a minute only on each question if possible, otherwise we'll be here.
Try my best.
We'll be here the whole day.
Alright.
So the question is this, is in Malay. Sekiranya ada antara HPK level C2, ada tips tak untuk jadikannya kebat? So I think you kind of answered it at the beginning of your presentation. You talked about answers must not come from the lecture notes. You talked about using interpretation type question or justification type question. Is there anything you want to add to that?
I think I'm speechless. Because it really depends, as I say, it depends on your course, because you are the experts in the course. If you think that it's quite easy, but what you can do is, if you don't know how to make it a kebat, what you can do is just randomize it so that each students will get different set of questions. Okay, I think that is the best that you can do.
Okay, then we come to a couple of questions asking about exactly what you've just said, randomize and shuffling. So we've got one question from Warga UKM asking, what's the difference between shuffling and randomized questions?
Okay, good questions. Okay, shuffling is you have, let's say I have 5 questions, and then I'm going to, let's say when I see the exam, so the first questions, I will get the first questions. Dr. Rai won't get the first question, she'll get the second questions. Maybe Prof. Kamal will get the third question as their first question. So that's what it meant by shuffle. Okay, we just shuffle the position of the questions as well as the answers. So if you have MCQs, then the answer will be A, B, C, D will be jumbled up. So maybe the answer at A, then the other students, they get the answer will be at B. Okay, right. If they cannot share the answers, and also because of the we set the sequential navigation. So if I face the first questions, maybe Dr. Rai will come across the first question as question number 4. Right. So I cannot ask Dr. Rai because I already answered the questions, because we set the navigation as sequential. Okay. Okay, and I think that's it.
So that means all the students will be answering all the questions except the sequence in which the question is
exactly
asked is different according to the student.
Yes. So that is for shuffling. That's for question and answers. But for randomizing, we are making a different sets. Let's say in my example just now, I just okay. I didn't show the example because it was in my video. Okay, let's say I want to ask them a vector. I just give a simple one. So I cross J. So the next question, I'm going to make it a variant and make it varied by, let's say, J cross I. The answer will be different.
Now on that, there is a question connected to that. Okay. One of our friends asked this question, will it be fair for students to get different sets of questions and not shuffle questions? So this is fairness. How would you answer that?
Okay, as I said, you just vary the questions. You don't change the questions, you just vary the question. For example, let's say the question is asking for the multiplication of cross product of a vector. This is from maths. So we have this vector I cross J. For the next set, I'm going to make it as J cross I or I cross K. It's just we just change a bit on that, not the questions. Or let's say just a simple one. Let's say I give a question saying that 5 plus 3. Okay, for the other students, maybe I'll give them 5 plus 10, for example. So it's about the same questions, but you just vary the questions.
Right. So we've got a question. We've got a question connected to that. So I'm just trying to match what you're saying so that the conversation flows a little bit. So we've got a question regarding that very point. When the questions are varied, i.e. change in value, how do we know which student gets which question? We need to know when we're marking the answers.
Yes,
this is a very good question.
Very good questions.
Yeah,
you can go to review attempt. If you look at my presentation just now, when we go to results, okay, we have all this list of students with all the questions. So under the student's name, there's a review attempt. You just click the review attempt. You can be able to assess what kind of questions that student get.
Okay. Maybe this colleague has not caught on the exact thing that you were sharing. So this question is something that you shared in great length and you are explaining now as well. But let's see if whether you want to say something more. Saya nak bertanya, bagaimana kalau nak buat kuis yang soalannya berbeza untuk setiap pelajar?
Yes, then that will be randomize the questions. I suggest you go to watch my video. I did it this morning. So you just put in random questions UKMFolio. You should be able to get the video. Please watch the video. If you have a question, you can ask me, email me, or just text me. It's fine.
Okay. And folks, you know, she's very hands-on. Friends from every faculty has contacted Dr. Azmin, and she's very, very hands-on. So please do not take her for granted and do not abuse her either. You know? So
it's okay. It's okay. I'll try my best.
Okay. And then there's another question. Bagi soalan yang ada pilihan, misalnya section A dari 4 jawab 3. Bagaimana nak buat sequential? Ayo. That means you give them 4 questions and you ask them to choose 3. Can you do sequential with that?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure because I haven't tested yet. So usually if I have new questions, I'll try to do the experiment. Then I'll share with.
She's very scientist at heart.
So you can share your problem. You can text me. Then I'll do the experiment. Then I'll share with you later if you can succeed.
Okay. Now we've got questions regarding previewing of questions. Okay, once we finish adding questions and preview the quiz, we cannot edit the questions anymore. We cannot add or remove any questions.
No, yes, we can. Okay. There's from the list of questions. When you add in questions, there's a list of questions. There's a garbage bin. There's a bin there. You just click that bin and it will ask you whether you want to delete these questions. Okay. When you go to preview, you can preview your questions. You can edit your questions by clicking from that question. If I'm not mistaken, the bin is on the right side. The icon, the gear icon. You click that gear icon, then you can change your questions. As long as your students haven't answered the question. If they already answered the question, you cannot change the questions anymore because they already answered the question. What you can do, let's say there's some problem with the question, just change the marks into 0. So it's just like a bonus point.
Okay. This is vis-a-vis the shuffling and earlier, but this is not a question. It's more like a comment, but maybe you want to clarify. Because the questions are shuffled, marking exam will be cumbersome. We cannot use our normal MCQ schema anymore because the position, i.e. sequence of questions, varies for different questions. Is it though?
Very good questions. You're wrong though, because for MCQ, the system will do the marking.
That's right.
So don't worry when you choose option as MCQ, you have a very easy job because the system will do all the marking, provided that because you have to put the answers. For MCQ, you have to put in the answers. So the system will do the marking for you. And you'll get the results. But if you have mix of questions, let's say short answers, essay questions, and also MCQ, the MCQ will be marked. But if you haven't finished grading, marking your essay questions, then the students cannot get the marks yet. Okay, so for MCQ, the marks will be automatically generated.
Okay, couple more shuffling questions, as I call them. Does it mean the system will randomize and shuffle for us that we cannot choose which students to answer which set of questions? Is that right?
Yeah, the system will choose and we cannot choose because we let the system choose. But as I mentioned before, when we randomize, the question is about the same thing except the values may be different, maybe a bit variant, but not different questions. Okay, so I think it doesn't matter whether you test the student with these questions, with the other, as long as they are at the same degree.
Okay, one more question regarding shuffling. What if I have one main figure and all questions refer to it? How can I set up shuffling in this setup? So you've got one diagram or image or whatever.
If you mean shuffling, is just change the what do we call the susunan, okay, of the questions. Maybe the first question will be the first one, and the other student will be the third answer the third question as the first one. Okay, so that is shuffling. But if I'm not mistaken, you are asking about randomizing. Okay, if randomizing, that is okay. You have to make the question varied by change a little bit. Of course, you can refer to the same question. For example, let's say I have this the area of a planned house, for example. Okay, this is for my room, this is for the kitchen. Okay, so I want them to calculate the area of the room. So maybe this one calculating the kitchen, and the other questions will be calculate the whole area, for example. Okay, so it's the same thing, except that they have quite a different question and they are referring to the same figures.
So you're testing the same thing, but you're not testing the same image. You're getting them to be tested on different image from the house, the map.
The same image, except that this is the same image, except that this is maybe the kitchen, this is maybe the hall, so they have to calculate the area, for example.
Okay, another question about random. Salam, where can we get the random question features? I can't find it in UKMFolio. Can you just tell us the video where we can get the video for them to watch it?
You just in the Chrome, you just ask Mr. Google, random questions UKMFolio. The first video will be my video. So just go through the video. If you don't understand, you just we can text, we can MS things so that I can help you to do the randomized question.
How to enable your question so that it's not seen by the students as you make them? You talked about this also.
Make it hidden. Use the I function. I features on the right hand side of this when you set the exam. On the right side there's edit settings, and go down below there will be hide or show. So just click the hide, it will be hidden from your student's view.
This is another interesting question. Instead of using the quiz feature, can we use assignment? Yes.
I think I did mention just now. Yes, of course you can do assignment, but okay, I'm going to tell you about the features of the quiz. So the quiz let us to come up with a report. You will know which question is harder, which question is easier, which question is very hard, student cannot answer because there's a statistic, okay, from the reports. And furthermore, you can set the time. You have more securities because you can shuffle, you can randomize, you can what else? You can make a pop-up security Java whereby the question will appear on the whole screen and they cannot go back. So there are a lot the things that I mentioned before. Those are the features of the quiz compared to the assignment. But I know with the assignment we can have rubric to mark, but not with quiz. But you can have your own rubric. And you can refer to your rubric in order to do the marking if you are using a rubric. Okay, if not, normally we are using schema, right?
On that point of JavaScript security, we've got a question there. If the students are using the full screen pop-up with JavaScript security, can they still screenshot the summary of attempts for us?
Because it happens at the end of the answering the exam. So once they click the finish attempt, so the summary of attempts will appear. So of course they can screenshot from their laptop or they can use their handphone to screenshot that screen.
Couple of questions, Dr. Azmin, about question bank. What is the question? What is the question bank in UKMFolio? How to put the questions in it? And another question by another colleague is, can we hide question marking in question bank from other lecturers in the same department? Yikes.
All right, thank you. Okay, what is question bank? Question bank is once you put the questions, so automatically the question will be put in the bank. So you have the question bank. Once you put the question, if you have,
you deposit that in the bank and you can
automatically
use it later.
Automatically. And then how is it? How is the question bank? How do we use? What's the question?
How do you use it? Yes.
Okay. You can click if you want to add question. You can add new questions, you can add questions from the bank, or you can, let's say questions from the bank is from the previous semester, and the next semester you are offering the same course, and you want to give them quiz, you can to give this new session a quiz, then you just take the quiz from the bank. So you don't have to type it anymore, everything will be in the bank. And the last questions, how do we hide the questions from the other friends?
The marking scheme.
For the marking scheme, for the quizzes, there won't be marking scheme. But if you want to put marking scheme, yes, there's section, I can't remember. There's a section where you can put your solution, your schema there. But if you don't want to share your schema, then you don't have to put your schema. So your friends won't get the schema. But I think it's good to have to share the schema so that all of us can check with each other whether there's maybe some flaws, right?
I agree. Regarding marking, this is an interesting question. Does UKMFolio allow for negative marking for objective questions?
Yes, definitely. For the MCQ, we're talking about MCQ, right? If you choose for MCQ, we can choose one answer, or you can choose multiple answers. Let's say 2 answers. If one answers, you should give for the answer as 100%. If you have 2 answers, you should give weight it equally, 50%, 50% each. But on the other hand, if you have this more than 1 answers, I would suggest you to make a negative marking. So that if they just click all of the answers, so for the wrong answers they will be punished. So right. just make it negative marking for the wrong answers.
Right. So we've got a question again about questioning. What do you think if we upload the question in PDF and students download it and ask students to answer it in A4, then use CAM scanner to capture the answer, then upload it on UKMFolio? What's your opinion about that?
Yes, of course they can do that. They can do that, but please be aware that don't complain about cheating. You know, if let's say our friends from FBI, they have I'm going to call it as HOTS for their questions because they have to refer to Dalil or any kitab. So it's okay if they have this 1 page of questions because each of the students cannot provide with the same answers. If they provide the same, they share, of course, lecturers be able to detect. We good at that. We can detect whether students copied.
We got the nose for that. Yes,
definitely.
Sniff it out. There's another question about question bank. Is there a way to control the access to question bank within a course? This is particularly when courses have multiple teachers and not all are in charge of setting exam question papers. Control of question bank.
Very good questions. So far, I've shared 2 courses with the 2 other friends. So far, I haven't seen my partner's questions in my system. Okay, I know that they have quizzes. They have few quizzes already because they took the second half. But I haven't seen their questions. So all my questions are mine, what I can see. So I'm not sure, really not sure, but I have to check. Okay. I should ask them if they already put the question because I know the one of the quizzes or one of the course has already had few quizzes and the other one, if I'm not mistaken, coming, but I not see all the questions. So I'm not sure. I have to check.
Okay. And earlier you talked about putting the questions all on a page. So there's a question here, kurang faham Prof, apakah kelebihan untuk mereka soalan, satu soalan, satu muka surat semasa membuat peperiksaan dalam talian. So one question, one page, a question per page. So what's the benefit or the strength of that?
Very good questions. We want to eliminate cheating. Okay, because we can shuffle, we can randomize, and so that the students don't get the same questions. If we put, let's say, 3 or 5 questions on one page, so they can exchange the questions.
Right.
But and use the navigation sequential as well.
Okay, and there's a comment, stroke kind of a question. If our questions are higher order thinking level, it does not need to be shuffled. I guess we don't need to put it as sequential. There's this is no one size fits all. Would
Yes.
you agree with that?
Yes, sure.
Yeah. Okay, I'm trying to get through all the questions before the internet questions are being asked. Okay, now we're gonna get to questions where the cheating opportunities are there. So what are we doing about it? So we start with one. Terima kasih Prof atas perkongsian. Ingin tanya, ada petua macam mana untuk mengesan seterusnya mengurangkan kalau tidak dapat mencegah pelajar mengupah orang lain menjawab soalan esei yang dibuat secara dalam talian, tempoh terhad bawa balik.
Okay, very good questions. It can happen. There's a feature I don't discuss, but under the extra restriction, if I'm not mistaken, there is you can ask your students to snap a picture of their surrounding, themselves and their surrounding during the exam or before the exam, so that you know that these are the students that answering the questions. Okay, when I do some readings, there are in overseas there are lecturers. They ask the students to be ready because the lecturers will call each of the students at different times just to check whether the students is answering the question. So they have to on the video, and then it stops, and then he will call the other students just to make sure that the student is the one who attend the class. So you can do that as well.
Right. Related to that somewhat, what can we do to minimize the risk of students taking photo of the laptop screen with their mobile devices and sharing it with others? This is difficult when we cannot proctor their face-to-face.
Right, if it's possible, that's why we set the question as sequential navigation, so that when they come across that question, they have to answer the questions before they move on to the next questions. So even though they can snap the answers and give to their friends, but I think they must think of themselves first before sharing the answers, because they have to complete answering all the questions. Right? If they keep sharing the answers, they might not be able to complete the answers unless they are super genius. Let's say the exam is 3 hours, they can answer in half an hour. So maybe they can do that. Okay, that's why doing randomized will reduce the cheating issues. Yeah.
Right. You didn't say anything about taking screenshot of answers, right? Because there's a comment stroke question here. Prof, did you mean we need to ask the students to screenshot their answers in the exams?
What my student did is, because once they get the questions, they will answer on paper and they will screenshot and they will submit in the system. That's why I don't discuss this as well, but you can check the setting up of the quiz or exam in the video. We provide 3 videos on the exams, quiz and exams. So what we suggest that when students submit, please choose wildcard, which means that all the different kind of extension of files that student can get, because it happens. One of my a few of them, they are using a different phone. I'm not sure, but the extension is something like HEC, something like that, and the system cannot open it, but I'm using a software that it can open the question. So we are making the students free to use any kind of method to submit the questions, the answers.
Right. So maybe this might also help you expand on this point, a question that's being asked. If we did not choose the sequential option, will it be possible for students to go back to the previous one that's harder, previous question that's harder? This is for short question and essay question.
Yes, if you set the navigation as free, student can go back to the other questions. So what can student do is, if they think when they come across a question and they think the question is harder, they can flag the questions and they can go back to that questions later. So that is the advantage of free navigation. But we want to reduce cheating issues, so that's why we suggest to make the system as sequential navigation.
Okay. This was a question at the very beginning. Hi, Prof. Am I right to think that all assessment, continuous and final exam included, should be open book during this 100% online teaching and learning period? If true, may I know what's the difference in organizing continuous versus final exam?
Good questions. So here we are talking about preparing exam for sitting for exams, which means that they have to answer the exam. This is for the summative, not for the continuous. But for the continuous, you can have a smaller portion. Actually, when I do the reading, they really suggest, since we have this e-assessment, try our best to make the weightage smaller if we have this open book another exam. Right. Okay, but for the continuous assessment, you can use quizzes. Maybe 5 quizzes if you want, or exam 1, test 1, test 2, test 3, test 4, spread along the whole semester. But this is towards the end of the semester. If that's the kind of testing, or if you don't want to test the student, maybe you can give problems, scenario problems, something like that. So for the continuous assessment, of course, you can have rubrics. Please refer to our one of our guidelines, our e-book panduan, garis panduan, and in the guidelines we provide the kind of rubrics that you can refer to. Okay, for the continuous.
Couple of questions regarding using of mobile device instead of laptop. The first one is there a difference between using laptop and mobile phone? That's the first. The second question is, if we choose full screen pop-up, will it be okay for students who use handphones to access the quiz?
Okay, all right, thank you. For what's the difference between laptop and handphone? I think the view from the handphone is quite limited compared to laptop. Okay, but furthermore, if you are using this full screen, you cannot access through handphone. It will be automatically off. Student cannot open UKMFolio through their handphone if you are using this restriction, extra restriction, whereby you choose the full screen pop-up. Student cannot open their handphone. They cannot answer the exam questions through handphone. Okay, but if you want the students, because let's say they don't have a laptop or desktop, they are using the only device that they have is a handphone. But what you can do is don't set the timing, don't set the date and the duration or the time. You can put the time in the restrict access. Okay, so with that you can open up the handphone feature. Student can use this their mobile device to answer the exam, but restrict access to put the dates and the time.
Okay, there's one of our friends who's asking, I'm teaching few courses which share the same questions. How can I share between these questions between courses? As of now, I retype everything into each course. Please help me. It sounds like a, really there's a plea there, whole thing.
I don't understand, because if you're sharing the same courses, you're using the same code. So you don't have to type all the questions.
A few courses, but they share the same questions.
A few different courses with the same questions.
Yeah, so now she has to type for each one. She has to retype.
Okay, that's an easy way. Just PDF it, or in Word you can put in the exam. But if you want to make, let's say there are 10 questions on one page, you want to make it as 10 different questions. I mean 10 questions in a different page, so you have 10 questions. But what you can do is you can there's a method where you just copy and paste, but you have to do a bit of work. We haven't provided the video on that, but we can try. So it's quite fast to translate our questions paper on in Word into UKMFolio.
Okay, first another one regarding question bank. Is it possible for penyelaras of the course to control access to the question bank? Should be. As I said, I shared 2 courses.
I think both of my friends already upload questions for quizzes, but I haven't seen their part of questions. So I think the penyelaras can control the exam, but I'm the penyelaras of one of the course, but I cannot see the exam questions. So I have to make sure whether my partner has already put questions in the UKMFolio. I have to check that. I cannot answer it, but I have to check that.
Okay. Okay, this is a question, yeah. I'm just reading it straight. Exam format. Normally, I have 3 types of exam formats: MCQ, true, false, and structured, which include graph and calculation. Now with the UKMFolio, I can use MCQ, true, false, and short answers instead of structure, question mark. That would be right? Because you can vary the kind of questions that you ask, right?
Yes, but if I can get more information on the structured question, maybe I can help whoever asks about these questions.
Yeah,
because we can have like close question where we can like matching questions. We can do that as well. I have to look at the structured question. I'm not really clear about the questions.
Okay. Now we're going into answers. So how to mark essay questions in UKMFolio? Is there any strategy that you could suggest?
The best is using rubric. So you should provide your own rubric. And for essay questions, you know what are the categories from the domain, what you want to evaluate, and then put the scores. Then just like assignment, we have rubric in the assignment. Then you can do rubric, use rubric. I think your marking will be very fast.
Okay, selepas selesai soal jawab tentang soalan peperiksaan, boleh Dr. Azmin terangkan tentang pengumpulan markah? And then soalan, another soalan, so basically how do you collect the marks?
Okay, so I'll answer that one. With gradebook, it's very easy because once you do the quiz under the category, just go through the video. We provide videos titled gradebook. Whereby you can, once let's say with MCQ, it is automatically marked. The system will do the marking, and the scores will be automatically put in the gradebook. Once you assign the exam under the exam category, the assignment under the assignment, the quiz under the quiz categories. Okay, the same goes to final. If you have something like essay questions, you have to do the marking, put the mark in the system, and the scores will be calculated automatically by the system. So I suggest, to make your life easier, you can use gradebook. But as we mentioned before during our tour with UKMFolio, we don't suggest lecturers to learn using the gradebook. Even though it's very easy, you can watch the video, very easy. It will make your life easier. But we don't force our friends to use gradebook. As long as you put the activities, do the assessment, and also resources, that is enough just to fulfill the blended learning 743 tu kan?
Yeah.
742, sorry.
Another question regarding after the exam. Bagaimana untuk email atau send jawapan soalan esei pendek, terutama setiap soalan berlainan pensyarah? So student dah answer soalan, they've already taken the exam. Now you have to send it to different markers or assessments.
So now I think the student will submit the answers using UKMFolio. Okay, once they go into the UKMFolio, I'm not sure, with the assignment we can assign lecturers, but with the quizzes, I'm not sure whether we can assign we can assign the markers who are going to mark which questions. I'm not sure of that. I have to check. But with the assignment, there is an allocation. Okay, if you want to allocate the questions to let's say 4 people, you can use assignment. We have features for allocated markers. You can watch video as well. We do provide video.
On that question, ada TOT tak sokongan untuk upload soalan online exam di UKM? Ada kan?
Upload soalan from student side. Okay, so we haven't done that yet, but I think I'm not sure whether Dr. Mawada have done that. I think she did. But I'm not sure because I haven't had the chance to watch her videos from the previous webinar. But we try our best to provide the videos. But I just want to tell friends here saying that my students, they are second year students. They are very good. I don't teach them anything. They know how to use UKMFolio. They know how to upload their submission. Because they are digital native, they know what to do. Compared to us, we have to read the manual, but they don't. They just go through. So, but we cannot conclude all of them can do that. But of course, we'll try our best to provide videos so that students know how to submit the solutions.
Is it possible to get the complete answers from the whole exam from each student in one page, even if we have put up each question as separate pages?
Okay. We can print this. This is if you want to print it. If you don't want to print it, you just click under the student's name. There's a review attempts. Then all the list of the students answered will be on one page on the student only. Or you want to mark by according to the number of questions, you can do that as well.
Okay.
And in fact, you can print all the. Let's say you prefer to mark the exam answers, exam questions on paper. You can print the questions. Then you can do the marking on paper.
On the point that you made that, our students are pretty savvy, you don't really need to teach them much, which is true. Thank God for that at least, right? But then, we've got a few questions here, which I think is warranted about technical problems. This is not so much the students don't know how to do this. It's about the internet connectivity and the rest of it. So we've got a couple of questions. So let's see whether you could answer it. Otherwise, we will direct it to PTM and make sure that our friends are given the answers at a later date. Okay. So the first one is, based on experience, students will have technical problems with UKMFolio. Do you think we should accept answers through emails instead?
If it happens, they face some issues, as I said, we should tell them that we are in front of the system, we are ready with our handphone. Just text the lecturers, and you can do override. Let's say, as I said, I have two experiences whereby one students, they have blackout, and the other students, she tried to submit a solution. It takes about 10 minutes, and she screenshot it, and then she sent to me, and I can check. I'll check first. I'll check from the system it's true. The other answers she can submit within 1 to 2 maximum 2 minutes, but that particular questions, it is about 10 minutes and the answer is not in. So what I did is I do the override and allow the students to do the second attempt, extend the time and give her the password, and she's able to do the question. The same goes to the blackout the issues just now. So of course, even though they are tech savvy, but problem arise not only from our side, the same goes from their side, but we have to, since this is the first time, even though it's not the first time because it's not their mistakes to have this I don't know, internet issues, but you can check all the answers. If you are not sure, you can check. In fact, you can check their IP address where they answer the questions. You know that the system knows if the quality of the network is poor, it will auto save the answers. So just send a screenshot and we can do the override, then we can extend the time and student can answer the problem.
I missed this question, was somewhere further up, but let me know if, let us know if you have answered this question based on what you've just said. If a student encounters data accessibility or screen freeze, are the students allowed to resit the online exam? If the system is unstable, can the students continue at later time, although the time frame is already set?
If you want to be just with the students, you just extend the time. Go to override, just extend the time. Because from my experience, the other students, they have, like, they message me and then they say, oh, doctor, it's okay, I can answer the questions. So I don't have to override systems for the students, these students to answer the questions. But after the system is stable, they text me. So, but if I extend the time, I don't mind to extend the time because I know they might not answer the questions. Okay, we can do just by do some justice by let them, because they are having problem, just extend 15 to 20 minutes if you don't mind, but I don't think it will affect the grades of the student.
Which is why you said at the very outset, we have to invigilate the exam. We have to be there
definitely
in front of the laptop or a computer throughout the exam time. So if these kind of glitches happen, you can kind of like be more active in that.
Yes.
So, okay, I have to ask this question because our friend has asked it twice earlier at the session and now. So I apologize for not calling out this question a lot sooner. May I know what are the measures that PTM can take or are taking to ensure the stability of UKMFolio to handle multiple login by students simultaneously over multiple faculties? It's a very good question.
Yes, yes. I think not our friends here is worried, but we from the pengajaran also worried. We check with the PTM for your information. Actually, we have increased our servers. What do we call it? Maybe data, okay, is a big one. We can secure it, I think, for maybe 8 to 10 years. So we don't have to worry about that. And bear in mind, our system UKMFolio is on the cloud. So inshallah, there's no problem. And furthermore, we've checked with the bahagian peperiksaan, at one time, student can log in amount of 1,000 students, if I'm not mistaken, but the greatest number in one session is only 630. So that is the most. It's under my session. And not optimal, but from the table, we check with the bahagian peperiksaan. During my exam time on the 30th, 3 to 6, 3 to 5:30 or 3 to 6, that session we have 630 students.
Right.
Will sit for the online exam. The rest maybe about hundreds or a few. So inshallah, system can cater up to 1,000 students at one time.
Okay, that answers one of these other questions. Berapa limit pelajar boleh buat exam online serentak tanpa crashkan UKMFolio? Thank you very much for that question. You know, you talked about mock exam. So we've got a kind of a question here. We've had mock exam just now. Time taken when they click next, internet is slow. Since we restrict the time, so how can we overcome this? How do we know whether the students can't send within time? Is it due to internet, or is it the students taking time to answer? Then the follow-up by the same person. Maybe today the internet speed is okay, but during exam time, you know, there could be a problem. So is there anything you could kind of like suggest?
That's why I suggest let the student check their internet speed at their house, okay, area of the houses, check that, and then if the telco, not only the area, but the telco, maybe Maxis is better, so advise them to buy prepaid, Maxis prepaid, just to answer the questions. But if it happens that there's an internet slow, things like that, instead of having the exam for 2.5 hours, just extend it to 3 hours. So I think you do enough justice for the students.
Okay, one of our final questions, Dr. Azmi, just wondering if UKMFolio has a way to help lecturers detect plagiarism or copying of answers.
Very good questions. We are using Turnitin, but we are opting for other choices. Turnitin is very expensive. We've checked with PTM. We are looking towards this problem. We are trying to solve this problem. So once we solve the problem, I think actually I shouldn't. I'm not the person to answer this kind of problem, because we have to go. Not only pengajaran have to solve this, but there are other parties as well, like PTM and then the universities as well. Okay, so we'll try our best. We did that. We did this. We request for this, and we try our best to provide something like Turnitin. Or not Turnitin itself.
Right. And finally, the question is, bolehkah saya dapat nota PowerPoint yang digunakan tadi? So can you share your PowerPoint notes, and where can they access the PowerPoint slides?
I think, yeah, of course, we're going to put it in the UKMFolio for Pensyarah. You can access the slides there. But I do hope will help all of us, and I will provide as well something like a template for the guide that I use. You can change it, you can add it. I'll try to make it better and then change with the rest of the friends so that they whoever would like to use that guide, then you can use that.
Okay, we don't seem to have any more questions, and that was almost a 2-hour session, and Dr. Azmin didn't even take a break to take a sip of water. So, I think we owe you a lot. Thank you so much for that sharing session. Some of which are refreshers because we have done so during UKMFolio the clinics. But it's no harm, having a recap session, especially for those of us who are preparing exams or on the verge of preparing exam. So on behalf of Warga UKM, I'd like to thank you so much, for making time to constantly experiment with our Moodle, with our UKMFolio platform, and finding new ways to kind of develop our assessment facilities. So with that, we come to the end of our session, folks. Thank you so much for making time to share with us your questions and your thoughts. We hope you benefited from this. Dr. Azmin, any final words?
Thank you, Dr. Rai. I'm just saying, just to remind the friends, whoever haven't tried this quiz features to do exam, please do the mock exam so that your students familiarize before they sit for the real exam. And I just want to advise to all of my friends here, saying that don't expect the best system. This is only 4 months that we use this. UKMFolio, so PTM and pengajaran as well as pejabat Timbalan Chancellor, we try our best to provide the best system, the best facilities, the best FAQ, everything. We try our best, but please don't expect everything in the best condition, because even they use this system, I think about 8 years already, but still they are experimenting. So we try our best to give the best system to all of us. Right?
All right.
Okay,
all right.
Thank you.
So thank you so much. Prof Kamal, do you want to say a few words? Prof nak ni ke? Say a few words, Prof.
Sudah cukup banyak dalam itu.
Dah mantap Prof. Okay.
Ya, saya harap warga UKM boleh experience. Ini sebenarnya personalize your notes, your exams, semua dalam tu. Try experience with that. Ada jawapan yang kita boleh jawab, ada jawapan yang di luar bidang kita, mungkin di PTM dan universiti sebagainya. Kita sebenarnya sama-sama, kita bukan konsultan kepada UKM, kita sebenarnya sama-sama belajar bagaimana nak membangunkan Moodle ni digunakan majoriti universiti dalam Malaysia dan luar negara. Ya, itulah harapnya kita dapat sama-sama membangun, ya. Terima kasih.
Okay, thank you so much, Prof. Thank you so much Dr. Azmin, and thank you so much kepada semua warga UKM yang hadir dalam sesi ini. Harap ilmu yang dikongsikan ini dapat dimanfaatkan dengan sebaik mungkin, and we hope the exam session will continue as scheduled. Thank you so much. And for those of you who have not registered, you may try to scan the QR code, but if you can't, please leave your nombor pekerja and we will make sure we register it manually. All right, thank you so much everybody, and stay safe. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum.